Today's video, I'm going to be looking at a breakdown of earnings for Alphabet and Tesla. Just been announced. One was a significant beat and one was a little bit of a miss. So stay tuned for details of that. Earnings for MMTLP, we're going to be looking at 13 steps to get resolution and also an interesting interview from Tucker Carlson. So stay tuned for details of that. And before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So right now from CNBC, we can see that the Dow Jones is up 400 points. S&P 500 is hitting another record as Trump is hatching a trade deal before the deadline in terms of trade deals with most of the countries. From Reuters, we can see the Wall Street also is extending gains after reports of the US-EU nearing a trade deal, which is going to be extremely bullish. And one of the biggest trade deals just announced is the Japan trade deal. And this is looking at a potential $500 billion windfall. And according to Trump, it could be the largest in history. And breaking news here from the Wall Street Journal, quoted by Unusual Wales, and that is that Donald Trump has his name in the Epstein files. I believe that is being called fake news. However, let's have a look at what we can expect from earnings. I've just seen earnings right now at time of editing for Alphabet. It is a beat. I think the stock is in a short decline, but I expect a recovery, and I think it was significant. We're also expecting Tesla any minute now, and the other ones we're looking forward to are Deckers, Intel, American Airlines, amongst many others. So let's now have a look at some important stock news shared live in the Discord. We did see one of the stocks that we were following, KSS, that did come up over 50% today, and potentially we're on watch now to see if it comes down below $10. We also shared details with regard to OKLO and LBRT and a significant partnership. HMIS was taking off earlier today, and great news in terms of one of the stocks that we covered in our Discord, CALM, Calmain Foods, and that is doing exceptionally well with regard to prices of eggs. And a quick shout out to the previous video, go ahead and check that out, where I shared with you a stock, tick symbol JOBY, describing this as a billionaire who bought into this potential millionaire making stock, and right now Joby is up today. Finally, let's have a look at a quick review of the previous week's weekly watch list. Some of the stocks that we called out include BBAI up over 27%, METC up over 24%, UMAAC up over 9.6%, and many more. So if you would like to get the current watch list, details are in the description below. Before we get started, I'd like to take 1 minute of your time to share details of the Trading Secrets Discord. This includes daily stock alerts shared in the pre-market, the weekly watches shared prior to trading on the Monday, the $1 Million Challenge, and much more. So we also have had some tremendous calls in the weekly watch list, as well as the daily stock alerts, and these include LEAES up over 152% on the week, DOMH up over 210% on the week, IGTI up over 77% on the week, and many more. We have a new channel called Top Ranked Stocks DD, and this includes PDF reports which you can download and use for research and due diligence. Obviously you can join us in live trading chat as well. We've just had a $2,000 Discord update which includes breaking news for stocks, including bio stocks, earnings, analyst ratings, Reddit news, why the stock is moving, and much more. And as well as that, you can join us in the famous $1 Million Challenge, where we look at compound return investing and 201 trades. And just a reminder of the power of compounding. If you have 1 cent, you double that for 30 days, you would have over $5 million, but we are using a strategy of just a 3.5% return. Let's now have a look at a breakdown of earnings for Alphabet and Tesla. So starting with Alphabet, this was a significant beat, and we can see here in terms of the earnings report, revenue was reported at $96.4 billion compared to a previous quarter of $84.7 billion, and that's a beat by 14%. So that's positive. In terms of earnings per share, we now have earnings per share of $2.31 for Alphabet compared to the previous $1.89. That is a very significant beat of 22%. So revenue is a beat, earnings per share is a beat, and Google Cloud is also up 32%. So let's now have a look at how Alphabet revenue is topping expectations in the second quarter of 2025. So we can see here in terms of the chart going back to 2021 when it was trading, when revenue was just over $55 billion, and now we are close to $100 billion, and that includes Google Search, Google Network, subs platforms, Google Cloud, YouTube ads, and other bets and hedging. So tremendous growth there and compound growth for Alphabet. In terms of the reaction from the chart, instantly the stock did go down approximately 2%, but we've just seen a quick recovery. It's now up over 1.9%, and I think the market have taken in that the earnings are certainly positive. Let's now move on to Tesla earnings, and we can see here not the same as Alphabet, and we can see revenue was 22.5 billion versus an estimated 22.7 billion. So that's a miss. Earnings per share was 40 cents versus an expected 42 cents. Gross margins were 17.2% versus 16.5%, so a little bit better news there. And in terms of what the company have stated, they stated that we continue to expand our vehicle offering, including the first builds of a more affordable model in June, with volume production planned for the second half of 2025. And obviously they're continuing to focus on autonomy for the future. So in terms of a summary of the Tesla earnings, they're looking at an adjusted profit of 40 cents per share, in line with estimates. Revenue came in slightly above the expectations, 22.5 billion compared to the forecast of 22.4 billion. The gross margins came in at 17.2%, beating the expectations of 16.5%. Obviously, total free cash flow 146 million below the estimates of 760 million. So Tesla shares were down after this news. However, I think long term both of the stocks certainly got great potential. Got the latest updates for MMTLP, and I think something that is quite similar in terms of the potential story is from an interview from Tucker Carlson, so go ahead and check out his interview. But in terms of his post and how he shared this, he stated here how Wall Street sellers worked with the media and federal prosecutors to destroy Trevor Milton's company and put him in jail for life. This is a shocking story. So we're talking about the CEO of Nikola. Nikola is one of those stocks that was a significant stock around about 2020 and 2022. It is also a stock that I personally used for some swing trades, and it was certainly in strong bullish momentum around that time. So basically, in terms of his video, he talks about the origins of the company Nikola, hydrogen motor, Milton's attempts to displace oil companies, so he was taking on the big boys, the problem with America's energy grid, and the lie that destroyed Milton's life. So it looks like there is a strong conspiracy there. How much did they profit from Milton's destruction? They got rid of somebody who was potentially a threat. Looking at the CIA's playbook in terms of psychology and breaking somebody down, and how Hindenburg combined with the corporate media to take down Milton. I think this is a fascinating interview. We're also looking in terms of the interview, the FBI sting that set up Milton and alleged him to be a Russian agent. And then obviously we saw that President Trump pardoned Milton. So obviously there was allegations there which were potentially not true. However, I think there are two sides to every story. So let's now have a look at a reaction from Curtis, and what he stated is what Trevor is describing is a widely used blueprint for destroying companies. The reason it persists is because everybody tasks with the oversight is on the take, and we're looking at Wall Street, the financial institutions, regulators including the SEC and FINRA, the Department of Justice, competing companies, mainstream medias, and potentially strong parallels there with MMTLP. And what I'd now like to do is share with you a post from Scipio X, and he's talking about his motion for preliminary injunction, and this is a legal action against FINRA, and he's basically looking at potentially information to get his money back. And as he stated here, the motion is necessary to prevent irreparable harm, preserve critical evidence, and ensure the plaintiff's ability to fully litigate his claim that FINRA violated his Fifth Amendment and the due process by arbitrarily and without notice implementing the U3 halt. So let's see how this continues, and obviously this is another example of a significant legal action to try and get answers. And finally, let's share with you 14 questions here from Swing with regard to the MMTLP fiasco. So if we'll quickly go through these, what is summarized here is obviously subpoenaing Congress could subpoena FINRA for the blue sheets. Not yet happened, but it's certainly something that has to be pursued. Identify who was responsible for the U3 halt, get them to acknowledge it. I think most of the investors do know who that was. Who was responsible for getting it trading against the company's wishes? Again, we know potentially who it was. What broker dealers were playing games, and again we know many of these who are got allegations against them. On the 9th of December and signaling 505. What role did Pete Sessions play, and also James Angel? Where did he come out from, and why was he paid over $1 million? Who falsified documents leading to MMTLP being listed onto the OTC without the company permission? Who signed off the 15C to 11 exemptions? I would also say, who paid the fees? How many counterfeit shares actually exist? I remember Greg McCabe has been approached to buy up Magic 8 Ball. Does FINRA do the same thing with GNS QNTM, which is going on right now in terms of the allegations? We have the UPC Uniform Practice Code applied accordingly to the failure and settlement of trades. Did Gary Gensler lie under oath? Did Robert Cook or Robert Crook lie under oath? Was there any potential conflicts of interest? And if so, are naked shots and legal shots, are they traps? And I think there are many, many more questions that could be asked. And finally, if you would like to join us in the Discord, get details of the challenge and also our daily stock alerts and weekly watch list, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.